If people think that they cannot properly discriminate in the matter of consciousness, they can give out love to the best of their ability and refuse to give out anything but love. That will bring them accurately to harmonious conclusions. Jesus placed love before everything else. There is a little book written by Henry Drummond entitled Love, the Greatest Thing in the World, which gives the complete key to the harmonious solution of every condition that comes up. It is the simplest little book ever written and has a wide circulation. It takes only about 10 minutes to read it, but it takes a lifetime to live it. In the living of it, there is perfect harmony and perfect freedom. If one should take a negative stand and deny the spiritual, that does not change the spiritual at all. It could not change spirit, for spirit is eternally unchangeable. But your wrong ideas would slow up your own progress. We should not concern ourselves with what the other person does or what we think he should do, because we cannot tell when his actions or creations will bring him into direct harmony again. Jesus said, "Loose him and let him go." He thus gave him the privilege of incorporating the Christ consciousness. He saw everyone as the Christ. That very statement, "I see the Christ in every face, in every form," is indicative of his attitude. Do not let the world tell you what it is like, for it cannot do so. It is not what it appears to be. It appears to be limited, but it is not, for it is formed out of the universe, and science tells us that each cell is a replica of the universe. You must learn to find out what the world is like by knowing what the universe is like, and then you will be able to tell the world what it is. Only in this manner can you be free, for you are expressing only what your own consciousness is. Look through the surface until you see the inner reality, and you will find that nothing in the world is single, all things by a law divine, with one another's being mingled. And there is perfect harmony and a perfect freedom for yourself and for the world. When the first man was born, your Christ was born, is the true Christ message. Before Abraham was, I am. The glory which I had with thee in the beginning before the world was. Add love to all statements, and they move in harmony with the Christ as he taught. We can so surround one with love that very influence floods in upon him, and it may in an instant change his whole life, whole thought structure. We are not dominating him when we surround him with love, for that is his native environment. We are only placing an influence that he may accept, thus changing the whole course of his life. And we also may change the whole course of our own lives and thoughts. We are but seeing him as he really is, seeing him as God sees him. This does not hinder or influence him, but it frees him from hindrance and influence, because we are surrounding him with that influence in which he was created, that state in which all men live in reality. It is far better to love your enemies and pray for them who persecute you, because you merely exalt yourself and at the same time help to free them from those characteristics which cause them to act as your enemies. You are doing a double service both to yourself and to them. The gift is to the giver and comes back most to him. Then, too, sometimes our so-called enemies bring our thoughts out into the clear light of day more so than our friends do. Should you have a supposed friend that does you a great wrong, a harm, the consciousness of perfect love can absolutely change the whole aspect of the situation. That is man's privilege, not his duty. And a privilege is the greatest motive for all of our service. It is a real privilege to love your enemies and exalt them, because you are thereby exalting yourself. It is the greatest exaltation in the world to exalt your enemy and see him standing higher even than you stand. This practice is the greatest sincerity, for it is to be sincere is to be without blemish. For to be sincere is to be without blemish. It is to be whole. The moment that you cut that individual out of your consciousness, you have allowed that individual greater privileges than you have allowed yourself. You must exalt him, and then you have finished with the matter. If you loose him and let him go before the exaltation, it is not finished, for you still have your own consciousness to mend. It is like this. You never knew that man before he came into your consciousness. Now you are perfectly conscious of him because there was some situation with which you or he needed assistance. The moment you have gained that which was needed and have finished with that person through exaltation, you can loose him and let him go back just as he was before he came into your life. Then, when your duty is finished and the exaltation is complete, you are both free. Both can go your separate ways, the same as you did before. Unless this is done, the blemish is still in your own consciousness. You see, all imperfection exists in consciousness only. There is to you no imperfection in those whom you have not contacted. The moment you recognize any imperfect state through contact with anyone, that imperfection is thereby brought into consciousness. Before perfect harmony in your nature can be reestablished, that state must be erased, and love is the only attitude that will erase it. For love is the universal solvent. It restores everything to its native state in the universal scheme. Only in this way are you free, and only thus can you free the other person. It is impossible to loose them and let them go without the element of love. Pity, either for the other person or for yourself, is not the way of release. Pity always binds you closer to the imperfection. You can pity yourself to the extent that you will tie yourself up with them faster and faster. You can also pity them until you do exactly the same thing. Pity reduces everything to the low estate of the condition involved, while love exalts the same elements into their rightful place in the universal. Love is the highest thought you can have. Jesus exalted himself and everyone around him through love. Love is the very essence of the universe, and in perfect love, all things are united into the universal whole. To the individual, the universe may be large or small, just as his consciousness dictates. It may be a single atom, it may be a complete body, or it may be the one entire universality of God, completely universal. When we say universal, if we do not limit our thought to any separate division, we are speaking truly. The thought then is all-embracing, just as light surrounds and fills all space. There is a very good saying regarding that in the Mahabharata. When I see light, I see all universality. That is because light is the vehicle that carries universality into complete existence. The moment we exalt a word, it becomes light. The universe is unlimited. There is no limitation outside of the human concept. The animal never limits itself. It is only man that limits himself. The theory of the expanding universe is not accurate except in that it expands in our thoughts, or rather we expand our conception of the universe. We are always discovering that it is larger than we imagine. The universe is constantly expanding and contracting according to your own concept, but not within itself, for the universe is the sum of infinity. Many people think the universe is referring to a single solar system, but a solar system is only one cell or atom in a universe of innumerable solar systems. There is one law governing the universe, for the universe is one. We need not obey a single law that is less than the one law. There is but one law, and that is the only thing that we need to obey. A human being does not need to obey even the manifestation of law, which is gravitation. You need not obey even the conscious manifestation of law. You need obey only the law that controls these manifestations. The moment you become unconscious of the manifestation of law, you are perfectly conscious of the law that is all, the allness or the universality of principle. Every manifestation of law then obeys us. We are in complete authority, complete dominion over every manifestation of law. The thought that there are lesser laws, such as the law of matter, brought the ideal of materiality or mortality into effect.